these days. That's how sophisticated these GPS systems are. But the end result starts it off. When you have an end result, the path can be known. And when you have an end result, a change in your life, whatever it is that your heart desires, once you clearly define it, the entire sequence of events necessary to bring it about are known. In the instant you define it. But they can't play themselves out until you do step 2, and it's the same in your car for this journey. After you program in the end result, what must come next? Yes, you must put your car in gear. If you didn't put your car in gear, you're telling the whole system, no, not now. I'm not ready. Even if you didn't know you were saying that. I mean, you could be in your car and you've got the end result in mind and you're like, oh, this is so exciting. And I've got my vision board in the back seat. And I'm listening to my Dooley on my radio. And I'm giving thanks in advance for having already arrived, and I've got a gratitude rock, and it's like, oh, thank you, GPS system. So you'll never get there until you put your car in gear. When you put your car in gear, the whole universe is thrown into motion. And here's the irony, you can't go in the wrong direction. It's impossible. You will immediately be guided. If you go in exactly the opposite direction that your system tells you to go, exactly the opposite, you totally ignore it or you didn't hear it because you were listening to me. What does the system do? What does it tell you? Make a legal U-turn. That's what it tells you, but it can't tell you that if your car's in park, and it can't tell you that if you're still at home with your visualization board waiting for Oprah to call. She's not calling. Never. The only place the ship of your dreams will never find you is sitting at home waiting for it. All you got to do is take baby steps. You can go in any direction, so don't sweat it. If you go in the supposed wrong direction, then a new friend will be sent. A book you open will give you a new epiphany. You'll have a dream at night that kind of nudges you a certain way. You will be assisted. You can't stop from arriving at this end result if you're doing your best to move in the general direction, and there's no wrong in this light. Now, people will often be like, well, you know, I've had a bad turn of events, or I got laid off, I'm sick, I'm this, I'm that, and, or Mike, give me something concrete to go on, you know, give me some baby steps to take. Do what your peers do. You know, make the cold calls. Go to Rotary clubs, network, hobnob. You know, join Match.com, hang out at the mall, go bowling. Do what your friends are doing if you're really at a loss, but you're going to get, ironically, a different result when you understand the truth, that you're not alone, and you're showing up at different angles to the best of your ability. But your situation could be more dire. 10 years ago, I felt like the train of my life had crashed. You know, and I was ready to manifest change big time, fast, pronto. The only problem was I didn't know how I was going to get my life going again. And so by the grace of the dire need I had, and having already worn a lot of hats in my life, it was the first time I defined my end results generally. We'll talk about that in a second. And I decided to just start doing something. Anything is better than nothing. You have to give yourself a deadline. And in this light, I'd give yourself days or weeks to start taking baby steps. No more. Don't put it off any longer. And don't think that because you don't have the yellow brick road in front of you is reason to not move forward. For me, it was pretty unglamorous. I had maybe, metaphorically, 3 paths. I had one path that sucked. I had another path that was suckier. And the third path was the suckiest. That was it. That was my life choices at this crisis point in my life. I at least knew, and you can know this today, that where you are is never who you are. You're infinitely more. Where you've been is no indicator of where you're headed. Have an end result. Redefine the end results. Pick yourself up, dust yourself up, show up on that dark, dirty, lonely dirt path. And the next thing you know, and it happened to me, and I've seen it happen to countless other people, one day you'll be so into taking action, doing the best you can with what you got from where you are, you'll look up for a breather and you'll be like, my God, how did I get here? In this very moment now, how did I get here? I remember being negative and complaining to Mom when I would come home from speaking at Rotary clubs. This is before The Secret, and they did not appreciate a young man coming talk to them at 7 o'clock in the morning about thoughts become things. I was lucky to leave that place unhurt sometimes. And I would go straight to my mother's and I'd say, I hate speaking, I hate it. I don't want to do this. When is my life going to take off? And I share that with you to let you know that it doesn't matter how negative you get. And if you've got a runaway train of fear, I still get them from time to time for the weirdest reasons. Different, but you never stop learning and growing. I've discovered not to worry about that negative train, runaway train of fear. Let it run. Just go ahead and run. You're going to worry, I couldn't even stop worrying when I would visualize. But I did discover that while I cannot sometimes stop that runaway train of fear, I can always start a new one running. Don't give it so much energy or importance. Go ahead and worry your little heart off. Try to stop, but if it's going, at least go sit down and visualize. Write down bullet points of what your new life's going to look like, your new career, your new relationship, and then do something about it. And during those times, if it's a crisis in your life, you'll still be thinking negative thoughts, even as you write down every little detail you want. That's okay. It's as if our positive thoughts are at least 10,000 times more powerful than our negative thoughts. And it's because divinity dwells within. You are God. You're not part God, you're not a test God, you're not a guinea pig, you weren't pushed off of a cloud to live this life, to endure, to suffer. You came here to thrive. And there's nothing you can't do. And this is patently obvious if you just connect a few dots, as you'll see I did for you in chapter 1. And then you can move forward. So the point here is assess your options and do something, do anything. And if none of them are pretty, then choose the least of the unattractive ones. And then you'll at least be within reach of life's magic. This is how you get rid of a job you hate. You master it. Show up early, stay late, shine. And y'all know when somebody hates their job. They think nobody knows, right? And it's the same in reverse. When somebody is there to make a difference, everybody knows. Even the UPS driver knows. And everybody wants a little bit of you. Please come do this here. Please try that there. And if it doesn't happen with the appreciation of your present working circumstances, something will come to your attention. Because after all, you're going to be knocking on a lot of doors. You're going to be checking out Craigslist. You're going to ask your friends. Always ask for help. Ask people who are doing what you'd like to do for help. That's another door to knock on. The third parallel here with the MapQuest analogy. At what point, let's say you meet somebody cool tonight who lives 3 hours away, and they invite you to their home next weekend for tea. In a town you've never been to before, so you've got your GPS rolling in the car. At what point in the 3-hour journey, which is made up mostly of roads you've never been on before in your life, at what point would you realize that every bit of assistance you received was miraculously spot on? At what point in the 3-hour journey to a brand new address you've never been to before would you realize that every left-hand turn and right-hand turn that you took was perfect, miraculous? In the final moments of the entire journey. Meaning 2 hours and 55 minutes into that journey, everything would still look weird. But that wouldn't mean that you weren't getting closer every second. Can you imagine the travesty at 2 hours and 58 minutes, drawing the conclusion, well, I must not believe I'm worthy enough. I must have invisible limiting beliefs. It works for everybody but me. I think I'm going to go back home and read Mike's book again. No, it does work for you. It's been working for you your entire life. You're a black belt at manifestation. It's a matter of changing the channel and focusing on what serves you. And ideally, it would be in a general sense. Let me share a little bit of that with you. The matrix is about Ideally, and this will contradict everything you've ever learned about being a deliberate manifester, seemingly. Ideally, the matrix will reveal that our end results should be generally stated. This allows wiggle room and more latitude to life's magic to blow your flippin' mind. Basically, you want abundance rather than $1 million by December 15th. You want a new travel partner rather than somebody who's 6'2", bald, whatever. Let there be room for even better than you can imagine. Okay, you've heard that a million times before, and the best way to do that is let your most prized end results, you can still dabble with the car or the commission check or the deal or the speech or whatever, but don't hinge your hopes for happiness on these little things that you're trying to micromanage. It's the micromanaging that fouls people up, especially if they're new to this way of thinking because of a DVD or a book or whatever, and they're trying to control every little thing in their life, not realizing that every little thing in your life is connected to 7 billion other people in one way or another, and you've got other priorities and other beliefs. Some are magnificently empowering and some are limiting. And you don't know which is which because they are invisible, but yet when you insist on micromanaging your life, you're walking in a minefield. So let your end results be generally stated. 10 years ago, when I was really scared, mine were creative, fulfilling work. Just something I love to do. I didn't care what. And you don't care either, so long as you're beaming with joy on your way to work every day. So let the universe figure it out for you. International travel. That's a little bit narrow, but there's a lot of ways you could do that. So I'm not limiting the universe nor stressing myself out. Friends and laughter and wealth and abundance. Your priorities will be different than mine. I didn't say relationship. I didn't say health. You know, for me, those things are taken care of themselves. They always have. My priorities were creative, fulfilling work, international travel, friends and laughter, wealth and abundance. And then I moved in that direction. I tried writing. I tried speaking. I tried to go back into public accounting, and they wouldn't have me. I tried to be a CFO. They wouldn't interview me. But as soon as I had my end results, then I can start knocking on different doors. And some, it's just fun to start knocking on them. They feel so right. And then others, it's like, ew, I hope they don't open this door. But at least now you've got more confirmation than you did when you just used to visualize on the couch. Just show up and it'll give you a wealth of information about what really works for you, but don't expect necessarily, and I'm not trying to talk negatively, don't expect the yellow brick road to show up tomorrow. It will show up, it's guaranteed. It's just dusty right now. You just need to start walking and get busy enjoying who you already are and all you already have. So the matrix is comprised of 6 columns. On one side, it's the ethereal, happiness, your thoughts, confidence, etc. As we move across the matrix, the end results are then defined by the illusions, which is anything defined by time, space, or matter. And as we move to the other side of the matrix, we're getting more and more specific in our desires. Okay? It's that car. It's this circle of friends that will always adore me. It's a raise from my boss or more respect at home. Now, at the opposite end of the matrix, we're dealing with other people and their thoughts. And what we learned from the miraculous mechanics of manifestation, with the end forcing the details, with the end clearing the way for serendipities and coincidences, well, the end in thought is over on the left-hand side of the matrix. When you start there, all of the details, including the hows and the path you're going to take, will be arranged for you. Happiness is the furthest left-hand column. It is the ultimate end result because everything on the matrix is to the right of happiness. Everything will be taken care of for you if you're focusing on and pushing that happiness button, followed up with baby steps in the direction of happiness as you define happiness.